we used to think that what was really important about America, that American politics was becoming more ideological. This is what we would have said. We were having this conversation half a dozen years ago. The Republican Party was becoming more conservative. The Democratic Party was becoming more liberal. Ideology was mattering more and more. But what that meant was the upside was you were more demagogue-proof in a highly ideological, because what mattered was what the candidate stood for.
Sure.
Check the boxes. You're for this, 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 this. You're liberal. You're for this, this, this. You're conservative. And we can compare and contrast. It doesn't matter what you yourself do all that much. And we discovered in 2016 that actually ideology did not matter that much. That Donald Trump he routinely disregarded old ideological norms. He didn't seem even to know what they were. Oftentimes, it didn't matter that he tapped into something more primal, and as excessive ideology is also dangerous, but at least it was something that imposed something on the political system that was not just you've got a charismatic leader, you follow him, you do whatever he says.
And so does that explain the split of the Republican Party, the people that held to that ideology versus the people that kind of followed Donald Trump?
No, I don't, because the thing that is always amazing is you think Donald Trump does something that you would think would be, well, one crucial element of Republican ideology since the Reagan years has been the belief in open international trade. And that's just just a signature line. Open international trade. And I wondered when Donald Trump's extreme hostility to trade manifested itself, whether that would not jolt the congressional Republicans into restraining him, and it has not. It has not. And in fact, he is genuinely changing the Republican Party. I've heard super orthodox Republicans, people who lead groups, with big donors, saying things like, well, maybe the president has a point about these one-sided trade deals. And no, he does not. But second, I can't believe you are saying that. I can't believe you are saying that, because 3 years ago, when Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton were arguing, when Bernie Sanders was authentically saying it and Hillary Clinton was pretending to believe it, you were horrified. Back then you were horrified, and now you are saying the same thing.
So why are they saying that? What?
Because once you jump on the Trump train, it ain't a train, because trains follow tracks. Once you jump on the Trump bus, you're a prisoner. You have to go wherever that bus is going. And the farther you go, and the more awful things you accept, the more you need to defend the driver, or else you look not just like a foolish person, but not just like a weak person, but a complicit person.
How do you kind of separate the person from what they believe in? Or, seems like it's also kind of changing that fundamental fabric of like the way we talk to each other and those kind of things.
Well, that's a very complicated question, and there are a lot of different answers. I would say, let me start with the last piece of it, the way we talk to one another. Political communication is not about self-expression. Political communication is about persuasion. And so when you talk to someone who thinks differently from you about a lot of things, and if you're actually trying to make an impact, you must begin by searching for the thing on which you agree. Once you find one thing you can agree on, then you can develop, okay, well, since you think this, don't you notice that when you think that it contradicts this more fundamental commitment you've got? So you begin by probing for areas of connection and similarity. But what is also true, and to go back to the first point, is people say don't condemn Trump voters, and of course we shouldn't condemn any group of human beings for any reason. I mean, they are fellow creatures. We're fallible. They're too. And when people do something, we need to understand it, and we should assume that our fellow creatures are, no better and no worse than us. That said, it's also true that Trump succeeds by appealing to what is bad in people, and what is cruel, what is domineering, what is brutal, what is ignorant. And that's also part of the story. And in a way, it's also unjust to people to say, I'm going to treat you like people of limited capacity, children, or people with some kind of mental impairment. If someone stands up for what is wrong, it's interesting to know why, here's something that looks so brutal and cruel. Why does it speak to you? And so, not for the purposes of communication, but for the purposes of understanding, we need to know that Donald Trump, he's a limited person in a lot of ways. He's not a person you want to get your information about anything from. But he has a deep understanding of what is dark in the human soul, and he has a deep ability to find that thing and connect to it. And he's built, both in business and now in politics, organizations by recruiting people whom he can reach the dark place in.